I had this dream the other night that I cannot stop thinking about. So in the dream, I put these contacts in my eyes, and then I have them in my eyes and I don't remove them for a few days. While they're in my eyes, I am going religiously to this massage parlor, and I am getting like, I'm being taken care of. So I'm getting like this compress, like this long compress thing on my back, laying down, and I'm fully taking care of my body. And while I'm doing this every day, I'm completely ignoring what was in my eyes, these contacts. And when I finally go to take the contacts out, I look in the mirror and my eyes are huge, almost like fly eyes, and they're glazed over. And I take the contacts out, like I peel them out, and there's like this brown residue that was left behind. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror like, how long has this been there? Like, why would I leave contacts in my eyes that long? And I think that's what got me, right? Is that I was taking care of how I felt in the dream and taking care of my body, but I wasn't paying attention to how I was seeing in the dream. And as I went deeper on this dream, because I love to go deep on dreams, I'm like, I love dreams. I dream a lot. And anytime I have one that feels important, I'm going to make it important. But it made me think about how long I've been looking at my life through something I didn't even choose. Like through a murky vision, through a murky visual, through something that's now tainted. And so I'm going to expand on this because I've been thinking really deeply when I get home. But now I'm going to head to one more store, and then when I get home, we'll chat more about that dream and what it made me think about. I am back home. Look what I found at home today. And this sucker was only like $12.99 and 25% off. And so it is now home with me. I love a ceramic. All right. So before we were talking about the dream that I had and how it made me think about looking through life, or looking at life through something that wasn't even mine. Like I didn't choose it. And it made me think about growing up and how my parents would always say, like, each of us was born with a gift. And I remember being so upset when they said that I had the gift of gab, because in comparison to my siblings who were athletes and artistic and musicians, I was like, gift of gab? My gift is talking? Like that was so, it made me so upset. And once I decided that this was my gift, I started to completely build my life around it. I fully leaned into being able to communicate, to persuade. And I learned that if you had that little power of communication, you can reframe or remold conversation or ideas into a way that is digestible for people. Regardless of what you're saying and where you're coming from, if you have the gift of gab, the power of language, you can create the language that connects with someone else. My initial plan to go to law school was based on that idea. Then the careers that I chose afterwards, marketing and real estate, and now in education, all of those were built around the aspect of being able to communicate and using that in order to successfully launch me forward. I ultimately knew how to create the outcomes that I wanted in any scenario. Somewhere in that, I started tying my value to what I could create because of that. And when your value is tied to how things look, you start building a life that you constantly have to maintain. And whether it is your titles, your career, your level of education, and your degrees, like all of those things are tied into your overall value, tied to how you're seen in the world from the outside. And everything becomes about being seen in a certain way. Even in my marriage, a part of me wasn't even thinking about the relationship. I was thinking about, what would it look like if it didn't work out? Because if this aspect of my life, like my entire marriage, falls out, what does that make me? Right? How does that look? How does that make me? If my value is tied to the success of this relationship and now it's gone, where is my value in that? And I think overall, that's the part that's been sitting with me since I had this dream, because nothing in my life started changing until I started questioning the things that I value or that I believed brought value. And all of these aspects of myself that I started to walk towards, changing my career, walking away from my marriage, all of these things felt like I was doing something wrong at the time because they were so far from the version that I wanted other people to see. But really, I was just starting to see things clearly. Because the hardest part in all of this wasn't the fact that I was changing or that my life was now changing. It was realizing that the way that I had been seeing life was not mine to begin with. that I had just agreed to all of these things to see the world in the way that it had been presented to me and never to question anything. So now I have this knowledge that all of the ways that I viewed life are not necessarily mine. And so I have to start asking myself, what am I seeing because it's true? And what am I seeing because I was taught to believe this about myself? Because you can be doing all of the right things, growing, evolving, taking care of yourself, and you can still not realize that you're looking through your life through something that was never actually meant for you. And sometimes clarity doesn't come from adding more to your life. It comes from actually taking the lens off. And I realized nothing about me has ever been wrong. I just wasn't seeing myself clearly. So if I expand on this dream and I ask you, what are you looking through right now that you didn't choose? What version did you just accept because it was given to you early? And you've just been living your life through this version while not questioning it. Because it may not be your life itself that needs to change. It may just be how you are looking at it, what lens you are viewing it through. Are you viewing it through your personal lens, or are you viewing it through how your life should be according to your parents? How your life should be according to friends? How your life should be according to society? Whose lens are you looking through? And do you actually see yourself, your value, your worth clearly? I love breaking down dreams. I love how my dreams make me process things. I always feel like they are gifts given to me. And so I'm happy to share this one with you. If you would like to hear more dreams that I've had and I could tie those into some conversations, please let me know in the comments. Tell me if anything resonated with you. And if you are not already, please subscribe and keep up with what's coming along.